Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about blockchains, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, smart contracts. So let's dive right into it. Well, first you have to understand that many times in science, technology, and in reality generally, we have concepts. We have a foundation of something laid down very long ago, but it takes time to actually start using it. So generally, there is an event that triggers that kind of a thing. So in 2008, something bad happened. What we call is stupidity on steroids. So world banks failed us, like as in like these educated people, these Ivy League people, all of them did something so colossally stupid that any Tom, Dick and Harry, while doing it, and there are laws to prevent this, there are rules and regulations put in place just to prevent that from long ago, and they're like, yeah, let's ignore all that and crash the whole world. Now, side effect of that was that because the collapse was so severe, the government had to bail them out. It's like, dude, we cannot let you sink because that will fundamentally collapse everything below you. So it was not like government was like, I was getting donation from these people. No, they had to do it, otherwise every other system will fail. So they had to, and that gave a very bad impression to general public. General public's like, dude, I lost my job, I lost my house, I got destroyed, and you are protecting the people who put us in that position. So reality was, everybody realized around that home crisis bubble that we need, things needs to change. Flat out, people realize that. Now, core aspect, if you distill that down, what was needed at that point in time, basically trust. Is these people, educated people, qualified people, certified, all of them are this idiot, then how the heck do you trust? So trust became something very important, precious at that point in time. And then non-centralization was needed. Why is that important? Think of this way. Even if, let's say, a bank was there that was doing something stupid, it could only require one manager to do stupid thing and they could collapse the whole system. So that centralization was the fundamental problem. So it's not like malice was destroying, it's like stupidity. Like, you could be stupid, then how would you protect it? You make sure you have redundancy, basically non-centralized. You distribute it in such a way that no one point can control it. No RBI, no central reserve system which can control everything, no big banks and all that jazz. So these two things became very crucial and core. Like, these things were required. Like, this is what we have to fix. If you distill down that entire financial crisis, this is what we were missing at that point in time. So one failed, one stupid idiot, whole market collapsed. So blockchains came to be. Now this idea is ludicrously complex. Like, if you think physics is complex, this puppy is like, bruh, hold my beer. So this is very, very complex, and sometimes people use physics to run this calculation. So yeah, it's very complex. So it's a mathematical system running on what we call cryptography. Now cryptography is like medical science. You have to study cryptography for years before you can understand it. It's like, it's not a children's toy. So computing has code. Now this is simplified word. Like, there is so many layers to this. It's like, when I try to understand, it's like above my head, is way beyond my head. But this is what we are dealing with here. You're trying to compute hash codes. Just think of it as like a signature. You are trying to create signature. Now trust was a very critical factor that allowed that stupid tragedy to happen. So people are like, dude, how can we trust anything? Like, let's say I give you 10 rupees, and then 10 rupees went to somewhere else, then it went to somewhere else. Then how would you know that you actually got it from me? History. Transition history is your friend here. Now imagine it this way. Any money that you created in the system, let's say a bank printed out the money, gave it away, and they can track the its payment path everywhere. So you can easily spot who is the corrupt one. Easily. It's like, dude, the bank printed the money went to this vendor supposed to give concrete to basically this factories and all that, just, and that never happened. So you can easily track it. And if that money is like rendering, that money that you have created randomly appearing some else, like other country's bank account, you're like, dude, what the hell? That money is supposed to be here. It's supposed to be spent here. Why the heck it's there? So chain of event, if you can trace that gives you very serious absolute certainties. Like, no, I know this money, like, this is where it's supposed to go, this is how it came to be. So that trust is very critical here. That chain, that's why the blockchain is a very important aspect to make sure that blockchain is created and non-temperable. This is also is like, if you can make a fake chain, what's the point? So the idea was created that each block would be that hash code will basically integrate one data point from its past. So it will be like, me, I'm the block, I know what's behind me. I don't know anything else, but I know what's behind me. So what does that mean? That simply means if somebody tampers what's behind me, I will no longer work, because hey dude, code is no longer matching. And if somebody tampers me, it's like takes me out and put in somewhere else, it's like dude, my previous data is my what is behind me will like bro, we are not matching together. So that's how you make sure the chain itself cannot be tampered with. Chain is like bro, every block knows what is behind it, so it cannot be like mangled together. You cannot create a randomly let's insert a someone new block here. No, flat out nope. So that's how the core chain, that's why blockchain came to be. And then how the heck you make sure that chain link itself is true, like block, how the heck that block is true. So to make sure, block also has a what we call signature, or another places is called proof of work for authentication. So basically I'm not so easy that you can be like lol, you cannot just go lol. Basically it's not like RBI or central banks of countries where they're like let's just mint money out of thin air. You cannot do that. Fundamentally it's very taxing computationally. So that proof of work gives you authenticity, like nobody's trolling you, like they have to put physical work to get it done. It's not just lol, it's like they have to put some serious work. That gives you, that block itself becomes authentic, and because the block knows who is behind it, that chain becomes authentic. You cannot tamper with it. Now how do you get trust? At this point in time all you have is a secure system, but you do not have trust. How do you get the trust? Yes, deal, you take that link, clone it multiple times, give it to multiple people, and the moment somebody tampers with one of the link or in one of the chain, you're like do other chains are throwing errors. It's like it's no longer validating. It's like having in general that you're like, hey dude, you are saying that you paid this dude $100 and that dude got the $100, and somehow that is not showing up in every other ledger. That transition never happened. So that's why peer-to-peer is done for trust reason. For that is crucial aspect of it. That's why the chain itself is meaningless if it's in vacuum or it's only in one individual. That individual can do whatever he wants to. It's like he can forge a new chain. How would you know? So to make sure that chain is cloned everywhere, that's why you get peer-to-peer aspect. That's why like every person using the blockchain makes it more secure. It's like more person has it, the more copies of that data is there, so less likely that you can tamper something and get away with it successfully. So that's how the database itself is non-centralized, so you do not have one person trolling around. That's another aspect. Now how do you make sure somebody with advanced computer cannot just like create a new one and fake it and just distribute that rather than the original chain? There is another aspect built into the system to make sure that that does not happen. You're supposed to trust that longest chain. Now this is why we go back to cryptography. You have to understand this to truly grasp what the hell is happening. So what's happening is you're creating a function, you are creating a block. Now to create that block will take certain amount of time. No matter what you do, it will take certain amount of time. Now can you luck out? Can you just like, whoops, I got it one or two times? Yes, but here's the deal, that they knew it. Like that's how the mathematical algorithm is written in such a way that you could in principle luck out, but here's the, you will never luck out hundreds of times. That will simply not happen. It's like flipping heads 1 billion times. That will simply not happen unless the coin is broken. So that way every other people in the network and every miners in the network, they are also creating new blocks, they are also validating, and they are also cloning the data. It's like there is a repository, so that way whenever new transaction is created, it's cloned everywhere. Now to make sure that fake clone are not created, you have to wait. Basically you got the data, you will wait you will wait for another blocks to be added to it. So once you get 5-6 blocks, now for a fact that cannot be faked. 1 block, yes. 2 block, maybe 3 block, you are ludicrously lucky at that point in time. But 5-6 blocks, and it will wait. The longer the bigger the transaction, the more it will wait for, like let's wait for 10-20 chains to be done properly. So if it waits for that long, you cannot fake it for that many times. It's like you can trick one individual, 2 individual, you cannot trick hundreds and thousands of computer bots. So that's how blockchain has absolute certainty that you cannot tamper with it, you cannot corrupt it, and you cannot create a fake account here. It's like, no, like the chain has to be cloned everywhere. And because it's non-centralized, there is no point where it's like government can decide we're gonna bail this puppy out. No, you can't. Flat out you can't. So this is the core aspect that was created at the wake of 2008 tragedy. Now cryptocurrency uses block tech as its core fundamental. Like cryptocurrency will simply not work without blockchain. So what does that mean? That simply means blockchain requires block, as in computational blocks. Those blocks are not free. Computation, running a program in a computer is not free. It's not like thin air. It's like let's just print dollar bills. It's physical. It's far more physical than that, because you can print $100 bill out of the same physical plastic that you can do with $10. So physically it's not that expensive. But here computational is expensive. So generating proof is very expensive work. Then becomes the question, why the heck these so-called miners will do this work? It's like, dude, why will they increase their electrical cost? Reality is, miners, when they are doing this work, they get a fixed amount of income added to their stuff, which is created out of thin air. It's exactly the same way how fractional money reserve system works in every other bank. Is like poof, money. Here also happens the same, but you are doing something. That's how you're getting that actual fake money. Now that fake money becomes real money because everybody trusts it. It's like, that money is added now because it's added everywhere and it's fixed amount. It's like you got one block done properly, okay, here's your reward. That's fixed in Bitcoin from day one. It's like you cannot tamper with it, you cannot alter it. It's fixed, done, and everybody knows that. Everybody can easily check, hey dude, you made because of the history, the record, you can track to, you have created 300 blocks, but somehow you got 3 million out of that. Yeah, that's not happening. So there is a fundamental incentive and fail-safe built into the system. So the more blocks you hash, the more things you do, basically maintenance of the system, the more money you get. So it gives miners an incentive. It's like, dude, you are mining coin. That's why it's called mining. So you do that. Now here's the, if you're creating money out of thin air, you are creating the same paradox which goes with the dollar, rupees and all that jazz. It's like, at some point it will become hyperinflated. Basically it will no longer hold value. To protect against that, the creators of this system, basically Bitcoin and all that jazz, they created a limit to that. Basically you cannot just go YOLO on it. You're like, bro, relax, there's only a certain amount of mining money that you can do in this way. Now you'll be like, okay, what after that? That means nobody will use Bitcoin because there would not be any maintenance into that. Here's the deal, after that it will turn into a fees. A small amount of fees will be deducted every time a transaction is done, exactly the same way we do it right now. But because it would be so distributed and non-centralized, there no would be like, you know what, let's increase the per transaction cost, whatever we want to. No, it has to be agreed upon by everyone from day one. So it's already done, it's taken care of. It will never become hyperinflated, nor it will reach a point where it's like, nobody pays that fees, and nor is like, anybody like, let's increase the fees. There is no other bank, there is no other ATM, let's increase the fees. Yeah, that will simply not happen. So that's how cryptocurrency is created. Like that money, that new money is no longer is like, let's just keep mining with supercomputer. Yeah, no, only a certain point. And integrated into that is multiple fail-safe that limits is like how quickly you can do that too. So this way cryptocurrency learned from the mistake of the past and then also allows you to create a new money out of thin air. Basically you're not doing that also here, you are consuming electricity. So you can literally calculate the value. It's like, one Bitcoin takes like 8 kilowatts of some electricity. So it's not even like that. It's not pure thin air. It's far more real than anything else we have right now. That's how cryptocurrency to be. Like in odd way, it is far more real than what we use right now. So then we come to the third, contender of the system, smart contracts. Now, smart contracts realize one core aspect. Blockchain is just a data point. It's basically a data packet. So what if you can change the data inside it? Basically, instead of storing a numerical value, it's like, he paid this much to that, we have a code running there. Now, benefit of that data becomes an executable command if you design it that way. Now, what does executable command mean? That means you can put feedback loop. Basically, if this, then that. Exact simple thing, nothing fancy. It's like, if transaction happened from this, that happens. So what does that mean? That allows you to create smart contract. What's that mean? That simply means you can create a system which is immutable. Basically, once you agree upon it, nobody can troll around. It's like, dude, I knew what I was getting into, so you cannot back out. And the person that you are in contract with, that also cannot troll around. It's like, let's gonna get lawyer. No. It will simply not work. Flat out, immutable. You cannot tamper with the code once it's done. Once that system is created, done, game over. Another aspect is distributed. So the clone of that data, once it's completed, is done with distributed around the network. So more people use it, the more absolute it becomes. It's like, no, we know for a fact that you agreed for, let's say, 10 kilograms of this or that. We know for a fact, absolute fact, cannot be tampered with or altered with. So these two criteria makes that contract absolute binding. It's like, no, it becomes far more real than like legal contracts or governmental contracts where like interpretation of law, that's not there. It's like, this is absolute, 2 + 2 = 4 kind of absolute. Another aspect is everybody has to agree. Now this is very awesome about it. For example, let's say I am trying to design a 3D printer and I need aluminum block. I'm like, I open that contract like, dude, I need aluminum block, and somebody else is like, okay, I will agree to your terms that you need aluminum block, but I will give you in, let's say, in 30 days, and I'll give you this amount. Absolute term. Both of us have to agree. The seller has to agree and me have to agree to that. Only then the contract will be created and validated. As like, okay, done. So at that point in time, none of us can tamper out. Like I cannot be like, okay, bro, I'm not gonna pay you. Why? Because I have already paid to make that contract. If the contract was, let's say, $100 from me, the $100 would be taken away from my bank account. It's like gone. My blockchain will show -100. That 100 was detected. So that 100 is now in the blockchain. It's in the cloud. It's in the blockchain. So nobody owns it. That 100 is in that contract. Now that person sees that fact that 100 is there, that money is there, but he will not get the money unless he delivers. So the moment he does the delivery and I get the actual physical and I verify it, like how you verify you got a package or something like that. Once you verify that puppy, it's like tada, that money will rather than being trapped, it will be delivered into his bank account without any issue. And let's say we created a contract of 30-day delivery and he got delayed, like let's say 2 or extra. It does not matter. The moment that 30-day period expires, the money will auto back. That's because it was in the central location. It was not central as in like between two parties, not in central bank or something. It was between two parties. It was taken away from me but not given to him. So at that point in time, the money will come back. It's like it has an auto expire. So for example, let's say a government contract was given and real people who are building it, they are just throwing and the timeline was not met, the money will automatically, they will literally lose money, poof, like that. So basically smart contract is the ability to make money logic driven. So like this much money from this person at this amount of time for this reason has to be done directly. And if anybody, like even if I troll out, the contract will be invalid. If that person trolls out, the contract will be invalid. So this way, absolute trust, absolute uncorruptible system can be created. So that's the whole point of Ethereum. Ethereum was like basically built with the knowledge of Bitcoin, and they saw like we can do much more, so smart contracts were created. So idea is very awesome. It's like it has auto refund built in. It's like PayPal had this issue where like many companies were like trolling them. They were like, dude, PayPal takes money from someone. It's like, okay, you want to order this product from using my portal, so PayPal will connect the money, and that portal is like he will show that money is there, but money is not at his bank account. Money would be like in Paytm's bank account. So there is no Paytm here. The money itself is the bank account at this point. Where it's like, no, yeah, I'm like, dude, you signed me off. Like you signed me off. I'm done. I'm in the Bitcoin chain network or something like that. And once the contract is over, I will be either I will come back to you or I will go to that. You cannot tamper with it. So this smart contract is pretty awesome. It's like mind-boggling. Basically, you're giving brain to money. So what we can expect in the future? Now, fundamentally, this topic is complex. You think economic system is complex? This is like, bro, hold my beer. It's on a whole different level. Even if you try to understand, you're like, what? It's very complex. Like very few people can understand it, and there are many uses of not finances only. There are other aspects also. One of which was very interesting is that land owners, basically property is a very critical aspect, and many times you have to track property for hundreds of years. It's like this land was given to this, that, and all that. That is very critical. Now imagine if we start doing that now. That means even in the future we will know absolutely this land was sold to this individual and then it changed hand this year. That is very critical. That blockchain would be really useful in that regard, and nobody else could have the ability to tamper with it, which is awesome. So there are many uses in government, in regulation, in other aspects also. Wherever basically you need trust and absolute non-centralized system, this is awesome. Now, this is a man-made system. We humans built it. We puny humans built this. So there could be a hidden flaw into the system that we do not know, or maybe some new technology in the future. Let's say optical computers come along and they are like, I control that hash system much faster than even 20-30 miners can do. So that way there could be a flaw. We may not know. As of now, with all the testing, with all the data, there is no flaw. But here's the deal. That was the same thing with every encryption. That is the same thing with every password that we use. But eventually time is like, bro, I will break you. So I do not know what will happen in the future. However, there's a lot of potential into the system, lot of potential, lot of uses, and outside of just raw finances, there is like multiple uses, including medical industry. So it has a lot of potential and a lot of good ones also. It's not just like evil people like trying to scheme people money away. There is a lot of good potential here. So this was my presentation on basic Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain, smart contracts. I hope you liked it, learn from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.